Modern life has trained us to want to control everything, and it is such a barrier to our adaptability. I'm Suzanne Rath, and this is Endures for your daily dose of endurance, leadership, and life lessons. So, last year I lined up to do my first and what I wanted to be my only Ironman. I absolutely hate swim training, and I had dragged myself into the pool for 12 weeks, which was more than enough for me, only to wake up that morning and find out the swim leg was cancelled. So, of course, I went through all the phases of devastation and what is the point. And then I remembered that you can only control the controllables. And when we look at researchers in longevity, people who study individuals that live to their 80s, 90s, 100s, one of the really common themes with people is that they're sad that they spent so much time worrying and time worrying about things that they couldn't control. So we're living in this time of great change. And if we're constantly rigid, if we can't actually adapt our pace, if we can't adapt our strategy, if we can't adapt our thoughts, if we don't have a growth mindset, it's really, really impossible to just flow through life. And so today I wanted to run quickly through the 7 obstacles to adaptability and then what I see as my scale for adapting pace from where people move from rigid effort to this state of adaptability and flow. So, first off, we'll kick off with the 7 obstacles, and I won't go into these in any great detail. But number one is cognitive rigidity. So that's that fixed mindset. This is how things are, that's the way it is. Number two is emotional reactivity. So if we're constantly reacting to every little thing instead of practicing acceptance. Number three is unclear values or direction. And that's why values and vision alignment, not just in your life, but within your work as well, is so, so important, and setting that really clear vision. Number four, and this is such an interesting one, is fear of judgment or incompetence. This was probably the thing that came out the most amongst tables at the last leadership workshop I ran on adaptability. So, so interesting. Number five was over attachment to control. So think, you have to Google map everything. You have to completely plan your day in minute detail. You can't stand not following a recipe word for word. The list goes on. Number six is a lack of recovery or capacity. And the same goes for resilience here as well. Like, we need resourcefulness to actually be resilient. And then number seven is social or environmental friction. So it's really hard to adapt within an environment that you actually just don't agree with, or you have some level of friction or communication issues. But what is the payoff to being adaptable? So if we're constantly traveling along at the one pace and this is the way things are and that's just how it's done and it's always been done this way, and hustling and grinding, we have this rigid effort, and we end up in this state of forced drive. And then if we pull ourselves out of this forced drive and we maybe take a break or maybe take a little bit of thinking time, sometimes we get to the point where we're performing, but it's maybe inconsistent because we're not practicing being adaptable, a growth mindset, flowing, and all of the tools that I run through with Endures and with my performance pathway on a consistent basis. And then the people who are doing pretty okay with adaptability, they have intentional pacing. So they know when to change pace, they know when to pivot, they know when to slow down, they know when to speed up. But the people that have absolutely mastered adaptability in a flow state, they're burnout proof. So they can scale businesses, they can scale their lives, they can set these massive goals, and they're just burnout proof because they're only controlling the controllables. They are flowing rather than constantly pushing up against brick walls. They know what their values are, they know how to align their values, they have frameworks for everything, even if they don't know it, but they have patterns, they have tools, they have strategies that they use, rituals that they use to be more adaptable. They're not afraid to try new things. The list goes on. And so, if you're considering how your adaptability is, I'll leave you with this question, which I love, and it's something I ponder every so often, which is, when is the last time I tried something new for the first time? And if it's been a while, I challenge you to find something. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you tomorrow for more from Endures. Bye.